New World is only 8 days away, so today I want to show you guys some useful resources and assets that I really think you should use and have open up on your other screen while you're playing to be able to help you through. I'm KingRaliant and I really hope you enjoy this video. All right, so what do I mean by resources? I mean things that you can have open up on your screen that can give you some advantage to where you don't have to open things up in the game itself. When I say advantage, I don't mean in something like an exploit or a cheat, but just something to help you work smarter, not harder. So while you're playing, it can save you a little bit of time because all you gotta do is pop open to your phone, look on your tablet, look on the other screen, and then, ooh, it's already there. It's not a huge deal. You don't absolutely need these, but they are really helpful to use. By the way, you can find all these resources I will be talking about down in the description below. So if you want to go ahead and check them out, you can most certainly do so. And while you're down there, consider giving this video a like, subscribe, and ring the ding dong because we will be doing daily upload videos for New World. We're all really excited about it, and we would love your continued support for all of them. Worldforge.gg. I really like this one the most. I'm not gonna lie. Outside of the map one that I will show you here momentarily, this one, it just has a really cool design to it. But most of all, if you really wanted to play around with it, so say you have a weapon you're considering, let's say Great Axe, they've just got a really good detailed build calculator here, and that is massive. So anyone that gets a new weapon, they're like, well, I don't know how good it would be. You can go here and you can click around, you can throw some points in. Maybe you want to see how strong it might be or how long it takes for you to get to the end, or whatever you want to do. It's just easier than in the game clicking respec over and over and over. So you can take a quick 5 minutes away, AFK in the town, pop open the other screen, or just open up on the same one, and you can go through this and see what build you might want to play. The other cool thing is the attributes, right? Let's say you want to get an idea of how things would look when it comes to your weapons. You could play around with putting Constitution to 100. And what I really like about this is you see the bonuses right here on the left hand side. So let's say I want to do 100 Constitution and I want to throw everything else up into Dexterity. All right, so that's going to be a 100-100 split. I'm going to see all the bonuses that I get all in one place. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I like having all of my information in one little templated area, just because then I'm not going back and forth. And with my ADHD brain, it happens a lot. Item affixes is another thing. This is a little bit more for when you get into the dungeons and the little raids and you start getting item drops, because you're going to see they have a name to them, like of the soldier or of the barbarian, blah, blah, blah. This is a really cool asset, I feel like, because this gives you an idea of what they are before you even get them and what to look for if people are selling said items. This would even help you in the trading post. Oh, I got a thing of the soldier. I know this is max strength. So min-maxers that are going all strength, they're going to want this. I could sell this for a lot of money. This is another really neat feature. This is something that I would recommend screenshotting this, either printing it out or throwing it in another tab, because when you come across these 4 category of monsters, you can see right off the bat what they're weak to and what they resist. And I'm going to cover that in another video, so stay tuned. So this right here, this is one that I personally am probably going to leave open for quite a while until it's just something that I know like the back of my hand. There is a lot of information with this game. It's a new game and it's an mmorpg. There's always going to be a big info dump. Something like this is just going to make your life a whole lot easier. It's a good way to kind of remember this in practice, because let's say you come across a group of them and you want to know right off the bat, can you take them all on? Or let's say you get into a PvP engagement and you know what weapons they're using. All right, well, if you wanted to, you could lure that said person into those fights because you have this chart up and you know the resistance. Let's say they're using a rapier and there's a group of lost right there. Lure them into that group because you have an advantage because you use a warhammer in case they're on you, and it's going to take him longer to kill them than you. It's cool to have this. I like stuff like this. I think it's a valuable asset. All right, this is the map asset that I was talking about. I really feel like if there's any resource you are going to keep up, it's got to be this map website. Okay, guys? Because this one right here shows you all the shrine locations. You can have the name locations. It gives you all the points. And if you really wanted to, you could go even crazier. This is going to get really convoluted, but if I wanted to show every single thing on this map, click show all, boom. Look at all this. I mean, you can see it all, guys. Let's go to Everfall, for example. I mean, I'm seeing all the places for iron vein, nuts, and elk bull, elk cow. You have the farming spots if you want to get for meats, for cooking, if you need to farm alligators, sheep, or lynx. This is going to come in really handy for things like the town board missions, because we all know how annoying some of these quests are when they're like, go hunt rabbits. Well, it's like, where do I find rabbits? Well, if you want to look on here, you could hide all, go to monsters, and go to rabbit, and then boom, you're going to see every single location on this whole entire map that has been farmed so far or data mined that are rabbit locations. And then if you want, show all the cities. So there's a good spot right here between First Light Town and Cutlass Key Town. This whole area apparently is rabbit central. I'm sure this is going to get updated over time, but I really feel like this is something that I would have open 24/7. It's going to give you the same thing with dungeon locations if you wanted to, or just getting an idea of where you need to go, because we don't really have a mini map. Think of this as kind of like the poor man's version of a mini map. All right, so this third and fourth one I'm going to go over, these are really good resources. I think you should have them open somewhere, but they're not as needed as I feel like worldforge.gg and the New World interactive map is, because those are something that are going to come into play and really help you out as you're playing the game actively. One is called New World Database. It's nwdb.info. This is a really cool site, primarily because it works very similar to wowhead.com. And for those who played WoW, it was a very valuable site when you wanted to look up, say, a specific item or anything along those lines. It does have a skill builder, a map, everything else, and guides, which you can totally use. But for me, I'm going to be using this a lot for this right here, specific items. So if I get something that drops and I want to know more about it, or I want to know what I can get, this is going to be where I want to go. I want to go a legendary warhammer. Boom. I've got all the stats right here. I've got what it's going to be for the attribute, a gem socket, its effects, its gear score, its damage, all of its stats right here, right in front of me. This is a really good thing to use because this gives you a direction of what you want to farm and what you can farm and what it will look like if it's even worth your time. So I really feel like this site's going to be really heavily used for things like searching up your items. Don't overlook it, but like I said, it's not something I feel like you have to have open all the time, but a really good resource to have at your disposal. All right, this fourth one is kind of similar to the New World database one, except this one's a tad bit different. This one's going to be more for if you are looking for guides. This one operates a very similar to kind of like Icy Veins from World of Warcraft or informational section of Wowhead, where this one's going to be just kind of like an info dump site. I really recommend checking this, you know, once a day or once every few days. It's a good place to kind of get an idea of what people are going to be posting guides about, aside from places like Reddit and Twitter and of course YouTube. It's not as important, but again, I would still keep it up because if you need to, it's another good place to look up items, quests, recipes, but you could always go back to the New World database. I would say ultimately the three assets that you guys are going to want the most are going to be the worldforge.gg, the interactive map, and the New World database. Those are going to be the three that I really would recommend keeping up like all the time, especially while you're leveling, because you're going to probably use them pretty heavily. At least I know I will be, because they're just going to save you time, and I'm all about that efficiency. To go further into why you use these assets, it's also information on the go, right? So by saving that time, you could be auto running to a location, have this up on the other screen, and already be doing some research. Because you can do that information on the go while you're still playing the game, you're going to be able to plan very wisely, so you can just be ready and get that maximum efficiency. So a little bit of an additional bonus, this isn't really a resource you keep open while you're playing, but this is a really good resource if you want to find additional resources. Go to the New World Reddit, see on the right hand side under resources, you will see all of these links. So if you click one of them, you can basically see all of them. This is a really good site for you to check out every now and then, because this is getting updated quite frequently and checked for accuracy. There's a ton of really cool guides on here. You're also going to see some character building sites. It's where I found out about WorldForge, multiple different interactive maps. This is going to be a very valuable link to look at to find that additional information. This is actually where I would be living right now before the game goes live. And speaking of community creation things, there is a possible Halloween event coming up probably in October. I made a video about it, which you can click that right there. And if you want to as well, I did make a guide on how to make some quick cash early on, because there's going to be some really good ways. You can find that one over there. Most of all, be sure to share some good vibes with someone. Stay shiny.